In this video, we uncover the unspoken truths about living alone in later life. Ever wondered what it's really like living alone as you grow older? It's not just the silence or the freedom. There are struggles, unexpected joys, and unspoken truths. Join Margaret's journey as she navigates the challenges of solo living, finding resilience in the quiet. The silent house. Margaret stood at her kitchen window, watching the neighbours' children play in their yard. The laughter drifted through the air, a bittersweet reminder of the quiet that now enveloped her own home. It had been 2 years since her husband passed, and the silence still felt strange. The house was filled with memories, echoes of shared laughter, whispered secrets, and late-night conversations. But now, it seemed to hold its breath, waiting for life to return. The creeping isolation. As days turned into weeks, Margaret found herself talking to the plants more often. "At least you're always here to listen," she'd chuckled to her ficus. But beneath the joke lay a truth she was reluctant to face. The isolation was creeping in, silent and insidious. Each morning she would wake up with the sun filtering through the curtains, but instead of feeling energized, she often felt a weight pressing down on her chest. She'd decline invitations from the local senior centre, telling herself she was fine on her own. Yet each passing day seemed to make the world a little smaller, a little less vibrant. Friends would call occasionally, but Margaret found herself hesitating to share how she truly felt. "I'm doing well," she'd say, even when loneliness gnawed at her heart like an unwelcome guest. The betrayal of the body. One morning, reaching for her favourite mug on the top shelf, a bright blue one with cheerful daisies, Margaret felt a twinge in her back. She stumbled, catching herself on the counter just in time. The near fall shook her more than she cared to admit. The house she'd navigated effortlessly for decades suddenly felt like a minefield of potential hazards. That afternoon, she found herself eyeing the stairs with a wariness she'd never felt before. Each step felt like a negotiation with gravity. One wrong move could spell disaster. She began to wonder if it was time to consider moving to a single-level home, or perhaps even an assisted living facility where help would be readily available. It started small, a missed doctor's appointment here, a bill paid late there. Margaret prided herself on her sharp mind. She had always been the one who remembered everyone's birthdays and anniversaries. But lately, things were slipping through the cracks like sand through her fingers. She'd find herself standing in rooms, unsure why she'd entered. The thought of admitting these lapses to her children filled her with dread. Who would she be if she couldn't be the strong, independent woman they'd always known? She imagined their worried faces, if they knew how often she forgot where she placed her keys, or how many times she had to reread the same page of a book before it made sense. Grocery shopping became an ordeal rather than a simple errand. The weight of the bags, once a minor inconvenience, now left her winded and sore by the time she returned home. She found herself relying more on pre-packaged meals that required minimal preparation. After all, who wanted to spend hours cooking for one? Some days, a cup of tea and a piece of toast seemed like enough sustenance. As weeks turned into months, Margaret noticed that her once vibrant garden had become overgrown with weeds. It mirrored her own neglect. She simply didn't have the energy or motivation to tend to it anymore. Each time she looked out at that unruly patch of land, it felt like another reminder of what was slipping away from her grasp. The leaky faucet mocked her from the bathroom sink, a constant drip, drip, drip that echoed in her mind. In the past, she and her husband would have tackled such repairs together. He always had a knack for fixing things around the house, while Margaret provided moral support and handed him tools when needed. Now, it was a glaring reminder of all the little tasks that fell squarely on her shoulders. The house seemed to grow larger each day, filled with 1,000 tiny responsibilities that whispered of her aloneness. Dust gathered in corners where once there were lively conversations and laughter shared over cups of coffee. Cleaning felt like an insurmountable task. Every surface seemed to mock her efforts. Evenings stretched long before her as shadows settled across the room. The TV droned in the background, not really providing entertainment, but more for company than anything else. Margaret found herself lost in thought during those long hours. Memories replayed like old films flickering in a forgotten theatre. She tried crossword puzzles and word searches as mental exercises, but sometimes found it hard to concentrate amidst the silence that enveloped her like a heavy blanket. It was during these quiet moments that feelings of sadness crept in uninvited, a longing for companionship and connection that felt almost unbearable at times. Yet amidst these challenges, Margaret discovered unexpected joys waiting just beneath the surface of solitude. One rainy afternoon, while scrolling through social media, she stumbled upon an online book club that piqued her interest. An invitation into a world filled with stories and discussions that ignited something inside her. She joined without hesitation and soon found herself eagerly awaiting each virtual meeting. Surrounded by fellow book lovers from various walks of life, it brought back memories of lively discussions held over coffee with friends long ago. Each week became an opportunity not just to read, but also to connect with others who shared similar passions. Additionally, Margaret started nurturing a small herb garden on her windowsill, a project that transformed into both therapy and joy. As she watched those tiny green shoots push through soil towards sunlight, she felt a renewed sense of purpose blooming within herself. There were mornings when Margaret revelled in the quiet solitude of her home, the stillness allowing for reflection and creativity, without interruption or obligation weighing heavily on her shoulders. She could linger over coffee while gazing out at birds flitting about outside without worrying about anyone else's schedule or needs. With newfound freedom came spontaneity. One day she decided to redecorate the spare room on a whim, turning it into a cozy reading nook adorned with soft pillows and warm lighting, where she could escape into novels for hours at a time. As Margaret navigated this new terrain of solo living, she often wished someone had prepared her for these complexities. The emotional roller coaster intertwined with moments of profound joy and deep sorrow alike. The challenges were real and sometimes daunting. Managing finances alone became increasingly difficult, as bills piled up alongside reminders for appointments left unchecked on calendars, gathering dust in corners. Yet so were opportunities for resilience and reinvention, a chance to redefine who she was outside of being someone's partner or mother, while embracing both solitude's gifts as well as its burdens head-on. In this journey towards self-discovery amidst adversity lay lessons about vulnerability. Acknowledging when help was needed did not signify weakness, but rather strength found within community bonds forged anew through shared experiences. Ultimately, Margaret realized that living alone wasn't merely about managing household tasks or filling time. It was about rediscovering herself amid life's unexpected turns, while embracing both solitude's challenges alongside its possibilities wholeheartedly. With every sunrise came fresh opportunities for growth. Each day became an invitation toward embracing life anew, filled with laughter shared over virtual book discussions or quiet moments spent tending lovingly to herbs growing lushly by sunlight streaming through kitchen windows. Reminding her always, there is beauty even within solitude's embrace if one dares seek it out courageously. Did you enjoy the video? Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more stories like Margaret's. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below about your own experiences or what resonated with you.